Well, good morning. It is good to see you. My name is Pastor Mark, and I'm coming from my office today as we continue this Lent video series. And I'm so excited to be here. On Friday, we only have a few more weeks before Easter, and I pray that these videos are helping you be able to keep your focus on the main reason why we celebrate Easter. The reason why Jesus came to earth to die on the cross, and on the third day rise again. Today, as I was putting together this, at least the thoughts for this video, I don't put a lot of intentional note taking and exactly what I want to say, but I was thinking about what we hear from God right after he gives the Ten Commandments. In fact, let me just pull this verse up that we're going to look at today. It's Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 32, and maybe I should set the stage just a little bit, but God just finished giving Moses the Ten Commandments, and then he goes through a little bit of instructions afterwards, saying that these commandments should be on the hearts of all the people, and then he knows how fickle we can be with things, and so right after he tells Moses how these commandments should be on the heart of all the Israelites, he then goes on to say, "You shall be careful, therefore," in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 32, "to do as the Lord, you should be careful, therefore, to do as the Lord your God has commanded you. You shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left." Essentially, he wants you to be fully committed in your walk, and you walk straight. You don't allow yourself to drift to the left and drift to the right. And we've been talking a lot about idols the last couple of videos, and that's the problem, right? I mean, sometimes we can start with the best intentions, like I'm not going to let this one thing, this good thing even, get in the way of my relationship with the Lord. And then over time, all of a sudden you drift to the right hand or you drift to the left, and then before you know it, that one thing has control over your life, and that's the danger. And so God, from the very beginning, was always giving these instructions to help us see that, okay, now we gotta be very sensitive and be very aware of our ability to drift, our ability to become rudderless. In fact, I remember the story of Samuel and Saul, and I think I mentioned this the other day about this same very drift on the part of Samuel, or on the part of Saul. But it is in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22, and what Saul does is he's told to destroy his enemies, and then whenever he destroys and captures King Agag, instead of doing what God completely commanded him to do, which was to kill King Agag and get rid of all of his possessions, he decides to hold on to some of those possessions himself. He drifts away from the original command that God gave him, and he decides to just withhold some for himself. And Samuel realizes this and calls Saul out on this, and points out that has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen is better than the fat of rams. See, you can have the best reasons on why you're willing to drift away from God. And even if it's just for the sake of, I'll make a few additional sacrifices, I'll make a few more religious duties. God's not interested in religion. He's interested in the hearts of his people. And he wants us to keep our hearts solely focused on him. And so today, this video may not be as much about what we give up as much as we just need to remember that we have to be careful of the drift, careful of even some good reasons. Like Saul could have justified exactly. I put the verse up on the screen, and he could have justified exactly why he decided to hold on to some of the possessions of King Agag. He wanted to make a sacrifice. We can justify certain things, and yet that's the same thing that God is concerning, or wanting us to be concerned with. and we need to learn to lay down anything like that could cause us to drift. I mean, Jesus himself even said to the disciples and to those, after in Luke chapter 6 is kind of the shorter version of the Sermon on the Mount, but he goes to the Sermon on the Mount, gives all these wonderful instructions that we refer to a lot. I mean, there's a lot of instructions in the Sermon on the Mount. But then right at the end of the Luke's version, he points out to his disciples and to others, like, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? See, it comes down to obedience, but it comes down to not drifting. See, it's one thing that you can, say all these things, but if your heart is drifting away from keeping God the main thing, that's what God is interested in helping us be not only aware of our willingness and sometimes our ability, our sinful nature that wants to do that, and but also just how damaging that is, because when God asks for obedience, he asks for not just partial obedience. When God asks for our heart, he doesn't ask for part of our heart. He asks for all of our heart. He asks for complete obedience, wanting to walk the way that he wants us to walk. And in Lent, this season leading up to Easter is a great opportunity for us to be able to stop and reflect. Like, are we drifting? Am I drifting? And this is a great opportunity to do a course correction if necessary. You may be watching this video and maybe God put this video right in front of you to help you realize that maybe you're drifting away, maybe slightly in your relationship with him. And it might be just one small thing, but it's a drift. And he's concerned about that because he's concerned about where that drift can take you. I remember, the famous story that, on a ship's heading, if it turns 1 degree, just 1 degree off course, 500 miles, down, across the ocean, you're about 150 miles off course. And so it only takes a slight deviation of course to really cause greater problems when you travel the road for miles down the road. And so, we have to be careful of that. And I think that's what this passage is all about today. And so I hope that you meditate on this and think about this and consider maybe what areas of your life you're drifting a little, and just ask for forgiveness. Go back to the Lord, say you need help, you need strength in this area. Maybe you need someone to walk with you in that area. Maybe you need to ask a friend, saying, hey, listen, this is something that I'm struggling with. Could you help me, hold me accountable? There's different ways that you can approach this, but the goal is to stay focused on the Lord, to keep, like we've been talking about with these idols, keep God the main thing in our life. Elevate him to the primary position in our life, even above the many good things that God gives us, because he deserves his rightful place. So God bless. Have a great rest of the day, and look forward to seeing you on Monday. Remember, we don't have any videos on Saturday or Sunday. It'll be interesting to see what Sunday brings with the weather. But if you can make it to church, if you want to tune in online, we would love to have you as well. So God bless and have a great day.